Yeah, mate. What a fantastic event. You know, hundreds of people in town, competitive over 3 days. And, you know, if you're a local, then you come along and support your mates, don't you?
Well, that's exactly it. And we know that a lot of the people that come to the Golden Shears are actually from outside Wairarapa. So it would be wonderful tonight at the Friday night variety evening, and of course the big final night tomorrow night, to get as many locals here as we can. Now this will be going out live in the live stream, but also through the MoreFM Facebook page, I'm sure. So if you are watching this, why don't you get a group together, come along and experience the Shears. Now Brent, you've been living here for a number of years now, and most of those times you've come to the Golden Shears. Now you've fallen in love with it as well, haven't you?
I think it's one of those things, Karen, it's hard to describe, but if you've never been before, you can't get it. And whilst the live stream's good, if you're out of town or you're overseas, we do welcome those viewers. There's nothing like the atmosphere of coming to the Shears. It's just so good. And you come along. My wife came along for the first time a number of years ago, and we know, what's this all about? And then within about 10 minutes, the fists were pumping and we were supporting that person and that person. It's such a great, iconic event. And you don't know unless you've been. It is well worth the investment. And
unlike most sports, of course, where you need to know something about it to enjoy it, shearing is one of those things where you don't. Over time, you do become quite a pundit, and I think it's fair to say that you know a bit about shearing now, where when you first came, you probably didn't.
It was get the wool, take it off.
Yep.
And if you can do it with speed, that's great.
But if you come along to the stadium and there's 1,000 people here cheering and Yahoo and having a good time, the atmosphere is like nothing you'll ever experience. You cannot help but get involved.
You can't, and I think that's the thing. I mean, for me, whilst I love the shearing, the wall pressing is probably one of my favourites. The athleticism across the board, whether it be handling or pressing or shearing, is amazing. But for me, I just love the wall pressing, and maybe it's because I know the Goodyear boys well, and they're involved, and Conan Gray as well. But look, it's just watching them crank those handles, watching them get as close to sort of 200 kilos in one fadge is amazing to see. And, you know, you can finish first. You can finish clearly first. But if you haven't got the weight right, or you haven't done that fine finishing, you come last.
Well, we just saw that actually in the men's pairs final. There was a Masterton pair, and Masterton has a tremendous record in the wall pressing, as you know, predominantly through the Goodyear family.
Yep.
But they were significantly slower than the other pair, but their weight was pretty much bang on. And you know that that's going to give them a huge advantage heading into the judging of that event.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, this is one of the things I love about Friday night, because the pairs finals are on. I know Vinny and James are in tonight, and Jeremy, of course, out, which is a bit of a surprise.
It is a bit of a surprise.
He's been a big name in that for a number of years now.
But of course, it's not just the fact that Masterton has dominated the wall pressing. There is something else linked to that too, in the sense that in the 57 years of the Golden Shears, there's never been a local winner.
This year, 2017, Karen, is going to be the year. I know I probably said that last year, but no, nonetheless, we've got three hopefuls, you might say, in the Buick, Abraham, and Dion King, of course. Now, I know people are going to go, no, Hawke's Bay boy. He lives in Eggerton and now he's a local.
Well, of course, that's exactly right. From Flaxmere, Dion King won it once back in 2006, I believe, off the top of my head. Now lives just out of Eketahuna in Alfredton. That's a local. We're going to claim him, and I can guarantee that the strong local crowd here will be cheering him on just as much as they will be David Buick and Pairata Abraham. Now, Brent, tell us about what MoreFM have been doing to try and garner interest again in the Golden Shears and raise its profile, because you've been quite active, haven't you?
Yeah, look, we've been obviously talking about it on air. We've been giving tickets away for people that maybe haven't been before to come and experience what the Shears are like. My lovely colleague Suzanne, your wife of course, and I will be hosting some listeners here tonight and giving them drinks and nibbles. And the story that I heard from her was a great story. The first year she came along, you know, she bought a book.
You didn't want to come?
Yep.
No.
Didn't get opened.
No.
She was straight into it, and I think that's the pull of the Shears. I mean, you know what to expect with rugby, you know what to expect with cricket or netball or any other sport. It's not until you've been to the Golden Shears you sort of sit there and go, I've got no idea, and now I'm coming back every year.
Well, and that was 7 years ago. 7 years ago when she came here kicking and screaming, didn't want to come. Hasn't missed a Friday or a Saturday night since. Yep. And that's what we're saying to locals now, of course. If you've never been, make sure you do. goldenshears.co.nz, or indeed you can buy them at the gate. MoreFM have been spreading the word. They've had a huge response from people that are keen on coming along. So here's your chance. Make sure you get your ticket. We'll see you tonight at the variety night, but also the big one, tomorrow's final. Thanks, Brent. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate yours.
Skill and control.